Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody that has both. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and do all the socially things scrolling past you on the screen right now. Today we're going to talk about even more favorite person stuff because it's still going on. And quite frankly, people seem to like this stuff, so here we go. It's been a hell of a week for me. And it would be fair to say it's been a difficult week for some people around me as well. And there's been a lot at play in it for me. And most of it, to be fair, is favorite person stuff. And the bits of it that aren't are also BPD, MPD related, but have just shone a light on the remaining FP stuff that I thought was gone. So I've been engaged in a battle of stupidity. I was going to say wills. Because, and I'm going to be very vague here because there's no reason to be specific. And it's actually, I think, more helpful if I'm more vague. The world was not as I wished it to be. I think that's the best way of putting it. The world was not as I wished it to be. And the person standing in the way of that, my favorite person, suffered the brunt of that. When there was a situation where I should have just gotten on with stuff, or more correctly, accepted that the world was not going to be how I wished it to be. When that was the case, I should have shut the hell up. And I didn't. And that made me, well, fairly insufferable, quite frankly. Because accepting that the world is not the way I wish it to be is sometimes a very difficult thing to do. And it is especially difficult if there is an individual standing in the way of that, in whatever form that takes. I want this. I'm told no. I tantrum one way or another. And that's nothing new. That's nothing weird. It's nothing unpredictable, really. It's go back and watch the video on being controlled or feeling controlled, because that's essentially what's happening, right? If someone tells me no, that the world cannot be how I wish it to be for whatever reason, then I'm being controlled. I'm being told no. And it's not specifically the no element of it. It's the control element of it. You know, if I didn't want something to be and was told it had to be, that would be just as bad, right? It's not about necessarily being denied a thing or whatever. It's about just not getting what you want, on the world not being the way you wish it to be. And that insufferability, for me, that's not actually what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the FP stuff today, because it was that insufferability that has brought to the surface for me all the favorite person stuff that I thought was gone, and all the favorite person stuff that I thought never existed even. And it's coming out in many forms, and it's far more severe and yet ingrained than I thought it was, right? Now, since my insufferability, I have taken steps to further separate myself from my favorite person, which is heartbreaking. It's really sad, because in all honesty, if I could get over this crap, we could be friends. Right? That could be a thing. And obviously my problems are standing in the way of that. And like I say, I didn't know these things were there. They've sort of come out. And it's, as I sit here right now, so, my situation as I sit here right now, I've not been I've not seen my favorite person for a couple of days. And despite the fact that the last time it was difficult, I'm missing this person so much, right? And that in itself, at this point, isn't right. Right? I'm not missing this person like I miss a friend. I'm missing this person like I miss a favorite person. I've got lots of friends. None of them are here right now. And do I miss them? Ish, I guess. I would like to see my friends. I'd like to hang out and do fun things with my friends. Yeah, that's what friends are, right? I miss them in that sense, but I'm not sat here desperate to text them anything. Just to tell them something, just to hear from them, just to have some interaction. And this sort of brings on the panic, the loneliness, the intense fear, the dark thoughts, all of this. I'm isolated in my own little bubble now, away from my favorite person. And I have to be away from my favorite person because I want to be with them so much. It's contradictory, but you get it, right? You look at it like an addiction, like a habit. If you're wanting to do it so much that it's distressing when you can't do it, then you've got a problem. And that's what's going on. And on top of that, I'm aware that my own behavior, where I have the favorite person stuff going off, I feel like it's the MPD elements that come out to protect me, right? Because in the case of a favorite person, you've got a person who doesn't want to see you as much as you want to see them. That would be impossible unless you were also their favorite person, in which case you'd probably not have a problem, to be perfectly honest. But in normal circumstances, when a person with BPD has a favorite person, that person, of course, doesn't want to see you as much as you want to see them. Nobody wants to see anybody as much as a person with BPD wants to see their favorite person. And so when there's an imbalance in this, it seems wrong to use the word friendship. When there's an imbalance in the relationship, it can breed with it resentment and anger and hate. And in my personal case, my favorite person is also my ex. And so there's a lot of unresolved anger, other unresolved issues there. And so that's coming out of me in the form of extremely toxic behavior. In terms, in passive aggressive ways, in terms of snide comments, that thing I've got to say, that other thing I've just got to poke at. I've just got to have a dig at it. And so I've built myself up into this situation whereby I desperately want to spend time with someone that I'm horrible to. And so why would they want to spend time with me? Why would that be the case? That would make no sense. Can I come around and be horrible to you? No. Why would anyone want to go through that? And so while I have this stuff in me, I don't want to expose anybody to it. Like, I pushed it too far and it broke, and I don't want to expose this person to this thing anymore. And I get caught up in What triggers me? Right? What is it that triggers these behaviors, these antisocial comments and toxic behaviors? And the truth is, as much as I sit and analyze that, and I can analyze that, believe me, I can sit and pull things out about that all day quite happily, figuring out ways in which this person triggers me. The truth is that nothing should be able to trigger me. Certainly not to the degree that I have been over the last week. That bit of it is on me, no matter what. I'm in control of my reactions. I can't control what other people do to me. I can only control how I react to it. So we can debate all day on what has been done to me and whether or not that's good or bad or whatever. That's not the issue. The issue is my reaction. And I thought that the severity of reaction I was capable of was gone. Like it was greatly reduced down to nothing. But apparently not. Apparently, with all this FP stuff in there, I can be quite a toxic, unpleasant individual still. Which is unacceptable, to say the least. I thought by now I would be rid of this stuff, but I'm not. There's still some left. But my ability to deal with it and handle it and remove it has been greatly increased. But still I allowed myself to get caught up in something that I shouldn't have done. To get on a train of thought, to get on a chain of reactions that were inappropriate because of the amped up feelings in this circumstance. Things that wouldn't bother me normally, things that wouldn't bother me from other people, things that I would let go very quickly if they did come up with other people, don't go away, don't shrink away, don't go down to nothing. They stay because this is my favorite person. And I am so mentally desperate to link on to this person, to have this person in my life so that they can value it. Let me be clear about how I'm using that word. Value not as in to treasure, to have sentimentality about something, not that kind of value, but to give it worth. As I've talked about, that attitude of, what in my life matters if my favorite person doesn't see it. Framing our lives in terms of our favorite person. All of that is there, and it's just full and sullied by toxic behaviors that come out of me and bad reactions and that sort of thing, and a whole mess of other stuff. And so it's a whole bag of taking responsibility for your actions, taking responsibility for your reactions, taking responsibility for where these things come from and why they're there. And it's about making sure that I don't do harm for a while. And it's hard. It's hard to want to stay away because right now I don't want to stay away. Right now I have to give up the addiction. But I don't want to any more than a smoker wants to give up smoking or a drinker wants to give up drinking. If you could just decide, I want to give up drinking, I'm done, there, drink is gone, then life would be a lot better for a lot of people, wouldn't it? But these things hurt. They take willpower and perseverance and all kinds of things. Giving up drinking, as an example, feels a bit more straightforward to me. hang on. In as much as it's very easy to tell when you're drinking or not, right? Are you an alcoholic that is falling off the wagon? Well, is there a drink in your hand that you're drinking? Yes or no? This is a very black and white situation. You are either drinking or you are not. You are either taking a drug or you are not. You are either gambling or you are not. These are very clearly defined things that are very easy to see and identify that you're doing it. If you have a gambling problem and you're in a betting shop, it's going wrong, right? Favorite person stuff is much sneakier than that. It's much sneakier than that because I thought it had gone. But clearly it hasn't. Clearly it hasn't. Clearly there are problems there that are still hanging around. Because I'm addicted to a person. It's very odd, to say the least. And it's addicted to a person and a relationship that don't exist. They're not there in real life. They haven't been there in real life for a very long time, and perhaps in some form or another have never, ever been there in real life. These favorite people that we idolize, that we put on their pedestals, they're real people, but not the way we see them. And so a desire to go back to something that doesn't exist. It's very difficult to handle. It's very difficult to deal with that. And it only just brings shock and confusion and greater sadness when you do something, when you go and spend time with your favorite person and you find out that imagined fantasy relationship isn't there. In actual fact, you have toxic traits. You're hurting this person one way or another. And that's not good for anybody. There are so many elements tied up in these favorite person emotions. So many things I want to do. Just texting somebody about my day, the most inane rubbish about my day. I've been here, done this, whatever. Like nothing's changed. And I can do that stuff with other people too. Right? I can still be communicating all this information about myself, all the same stuff I would want to tell my favorite person, but it doesn't, sharing it with the entire world doesn't count yet. Knowing something for myself doesn't count. It's like, but she doesn't know. I'm still doing it. I'm still framing my world in terms of my favorite person instead of me. What will they want of me? What will they be impressed if they see me doing? What will make them like me more? All of these things, I realize just how much I'm still running on that. And it even goes back to making you question God, the relationship in the first place, in terms of how much of it was favorite person obsession. How much of it was driven by that fear and panic of losing this person and not being good enough and so many other things. How much of my behavior was about that favorite person stuff. Because I think it was an alarming amount and continues to be so. You know, I'm talking, look, in my personal case with a favorite person, I'm talking about an ex. And that brings with it, a relationship like that can bring with it lots of relationship stuff too. But it's been years now. The relationship stuff, that's been removed from the equation. That's not part of it. This is all favorite person stuff. This is all that personal insecurity. The key to which I've said before is dealing with your sense of self, and I still believe it is. Living for yourself, framing the world in terms of your own wants, desires, and needs, and that sort of thing. To have other things to do. And that's a process that is in progress. Finding new things to do, finding new friends, finding hobbies, finding stuff to keep my time busy. Because when I'm not doing those things, I sit here on my own, isolated away from the world, and I want to go and see my favorite person. Because right now, here, where I live, she's all I have. I don't have any friends locally. There's no one here that I can just pop around and hang out and watch TV with all night. I'm either on my own or I'm with my FP. And being on my own is torture in and of itself, right? But it's something that needs to happen. I don't necessarily have to be okay with totally being alone all the time, but at the same time, the weight that I put on my favorite person is too much. And I'm aware that for now, while I still have all these favorite person feelings, and indeed all the remaining anger, resentment, frustration, whatever about the relationship, I have to cut this off and go minimal contact. One of the little things I realized was I've had to block this person on social media. And when I say that sentence, it makes it sound like something they're doing, and nothing could be further from the truth. This person has done absolutely nothing, either to me or inappropriately on social media. But I became aware that my own posting was for them. I managed to keep it together on YouTube because this is very public. You're all watching this. I can't just do it on YouTube and make videos that are for this person. But I can make Facebook posts for just them. I can keep them in my life as much as possible because they aren't not talking to me, or haven't been, whatever. After my behavior this week, I wouldn't blame them. But it's not to protect me from them, it's to protect them from me. Because those toxic behaviors can come out like that. I've been really disturbed to discover just how much stuff is still going on, and how bad it is, and how bad it makes me, and how much I can affect people negatively. And so I think if the favorite person stuff is things you're going through, if it still hurts, you aren't fixed. And taking little sips of the drink are as bad as downing a pint. You need no more alcohol. Right? At Alcoholics Anonymous, they don't tell you to just let's cut down. Will you be happy with just a bottle of whiskey a week? No, we have none. And I don't think it's as severe with a favorite person. I don't think that they have to be cut out of your life necessarily permanently or forever. Not at all. But I think the FP stuff needs to be cleared first, for their sake, and for mine and yours. You know, when I have a bad week, which God hasn't happened for like 2 years, but this week was bad. It's not, it's bad for all the people around me, but this hurts me too. This is relapse, right? Which is a whole other video. Someone write that down, tweet it back to me later. It's difficult and it hurts and it's lonely and it's isolating and it's frustrating and it's sad. And I want to kick and scream and tantrum and cry and throw things and go and get my favorite person and hold on to them and say, you just stay there. But that's not reasonable, acceptable behavior. That's not good. You can't do that. I can't be like that and they can't be like that. So here I am. For better or worse, here we all are. But at least in our isolation and loneliness, we're not alone. We've got each other, right? And come on, I'm not alone otherwise. Lack of emotional permanence, that's my problem, amongst others. I'm going to leave it there today because I had no idea I've nearly talked for half an hour. This is insane. Wow, that's a long episode. No one will make it to the end of this. I could moon you all right now and no one would know. I'll see you later. Bye.